Hello, hello, what's going on? This is No Noise. Your host, Z-Rex. coming at you live again on November 7th of 2018. Yeah, we had a little hiccup earlier. I kind of had a feeling it might happen. It juked me. It acted like it was going to be stable, and then it was not. It was not very nice, because I was just getting rolling. And then it was like, bird, skirt, skirt. Nope, no party for you. So, like I said, I went to the phone store. We're going to run with this now for a little bit, see how this little thing I rigged up and added to my phone account. Hopefully, that will do for a month-to-month basis. Right now, I'm getting 0 drop frames and everything looks crystal on my end. So that's nice. So let's kind of just go to where we left off. We talked about in the previous video. I'm not going to go over them again. It's a shorter video. You can just go check out real quick. I'll edit that one here after I finish this one. Again, I do edit all the older videos and put timestamps on there. Not edit them, like I don't take anything out, but I do timestamp them and, you know, put a little thumbnail on it, whatever. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying editing. Anyway, we talked about BAT. We brought up Bitcoin Cash. We also looked at Cardano. And then it started to get kind of wonky. The internet, that is, my connection sucks. Just in kind of like this weird middle around the city, but it's just kind of like everybody around me has the services, but it's like a little ghost inside of a pretty much lots of houses and all kinds of things just didn't get built here. That's okay. I digress. So that's where we left off. Was with Cardano. Then we got most of Cardano out of the way. It looked pretty good on a chart basis. So I think we should just go ahead and look at the big boys. Let's see who's been moving. Kind of crappy the last 24 hours across the board. The last 7 days, though, looking real nice. Lots of green here on your top 10s. Cardano up there. Stellar looking nice. Litecoin. Monero, which we will be talking about Monero towards the end, as we usually do. Tron looking okay. Dash. IOTA. You know what? Let's go jump over to IOTA. We don't look at IOTA that much. Let's see here. Yeah, clearly, as I don't even have the horizontals on here. Alright. Alright, above the 21 on a daily, so it's getting a little bit of momentum shifting. Bull's trying to regain some momentum here on the DMI as well. Kind of losing it a little bit on the 4-hour and shorter time frames, but still above the longer term purple exponential, the 144, so that's good. Pretty much above most of them. I know it's like barely here, but I mean it's fractions of a penny. We'll kind of count that as consolidating, so not a terrible spot. On the hourly, it does look a little bit bearish, so we definitely don't want to lose this red exponential here. The longer term, and give it a little cushion to this consolidation before the pump. You know, you're looking at, we really want this to hold 48.5 cents, 48 cents. So do be aware of that on IOTA. I haven't traded IOTA in a really long time, so this is pretty fresh for me looking at this. Let's scroll out a little bit. Not even sure what those lines mean on there anymore. I drew them for something. Maybe price targets from this area could look like. Clearly that did not work and broke down, if that's what it was. I don't know, I'm just kind of guessing. Doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and just erase them, because whatever. Yeah, so we were kind of consolidating all around here over in this area way back in 2017. And here we are kind of sharing in this nice little box right there. Usually I don't like to make those red unless they're kind of downside targets. We'll go yellow. Some yeller. So kind of right there in that space. Lots of support. I wouldn't be surprised if you know, we kind of hold this and squeeze and eventually come out of this over the 55 and pop up to the purple exponential here. Maybe if we get real lucky, get up here, but that's a little ambitious at the moment. 4 hour, again, in the 1 hour is getting a little bit bearish. So we'll see what happens. Nothing too exciting with IOTA. I don't think we covered the market cap graph, so we're gonna go ahead and touch on that real quick. I usually like to look at about 6 months. So you can see here, very, very tight consolidation. It's pissing a lot of people off. So boring. Sucks. I don't want to do this. Let's trade stocks now. That's happened with a lot of people in the crypto scene. It's pretty funny. So really nothing new to report here. You've got it about 217. It has caught about 10 billion, so that's nice. Earlier it was a little closer to 220 the first time I did this video, so it's taking a little breather. Bitcoin dominance has dropped pretty significantly, about a couple percentage points. Not a huge surprise. ETH, a lot of the altcoins have been looking pretty sexy recently. As I touched on a little bit earlier in the first part of the video, that'll guess be just part one, kind of intro, and then we're gonna get caught up and talk about Mama Bear, which we haven't talked about yet, which we're about to go to. I know, drum roll. So 250, really 225, and you know 200 billion has been the range. It's been ping-ponging in there, still doing it. Nothing special about that, except for the altcoins are looking pretty darn nice. And I haven't done that in a long time. I apologize. Whoops. Long night, see? Gotta go fix the internet problem, come back. It's all good though, you know? No worries. Could have did the whole stream that way, but I didn't. So we're just talking about this, consolidating real quick. I'm just gonna do a really fast recap. Consolidating here, you know, compression like a mofo since August, and nothing's changed. 225, 200 is kind of the range we've been ping-ponging. And back to IOTA real quick, what we were looking at there. We go here to the daily. You can see it's in this nice zone of, I would call this pretty good support here. We are still below the 55 daily moving exponential, but we are finding support on the 21. So that's the first step. The one thing that does kind of suck is the hourly is looking a little bit bearish. The bears do have control on the DMI indicator, but as long as they hold a little bit below this, like we said earlier, about 48.5, 48, it should be okay. But that's about all I would hold this long for. All right, now to Mama Bear. Actually, before I forget, we're just gonna go ahead and do this one real quick. It is related to Mama Bear. Here we go, the shorts. We talked about in a few episodes about how they've just been falling for a week straight when Bitcoin did nothing. You know, there was no price action really here. And they have just dumped and dumped and dumped. You can see this. I mean, that is about a 35% dump. One of the bigger dumps in the history of this chart, you know, here and here and there and there. You know, it does happen, but these all had like huge price moves to the upside, and this one has not. So they're catching a little bit here with this little pop. Shorts are trying to get in there. I'd be curious if this comes back over the longer term exponential here at around, let's call it 24,000. I don't think that it will, but hey, what do I know? But yeah, there you go. Bitcoin short's been falling off of a cliff when Bitcoin has been doing this, which is kind of weird. I mean, I guess it's been going up slowly, but I mean, what is, you know, like $100? That's not really that much. A couple $100 in Bitcoin is not much, especially when this was just a quick little dump. We've really just been in this range mostly here, around 6,400. So it's not really that much different. Earlier we talked about, I'm not sure if we did discuss this in the last video because we didn't really get to Bitcoin But regardless, Bitcoin needed to really close above 6,500 on Bitstamp on a daily. And today's daily did close earlier. And look where we closed at. I can't move. If you look over here, it'll show you to see when I put the cursor right on it. So 6501.00 even. That's pretty damn ridiculous. That's what was going to give me confirmation, but to me that is like the lamest confirmation ever, and something to be, or something that is noteworthy too. This, you can't see it on this chart, but on my other chart that I do use, this needed to actually close a little bit higher on the upper end of this candle to kind of give the same type signal. So it is above the 55, so that is good. And ultimately, we can't get too bearish until we break this 64.50 level. That should be really good support right now for the short term. If we look at the 4 hour, yeah, there you go. That's about where the 55 exponential lines up. And you have 3 of the moving averages here. So this consolidation, let me go ahead and just box it in real quick. Like this area right here should provide real good support for the short term. And, you know, to be fair, we have broken out of this channel here on Bitfinex, even though this was like that wonky move, whatever the hell it was, with whatever the hell news it was, doesn't matter. That happened, got right out of it, chiseled down. I mean, this is pretty rare to chisel down a line like this, break it, touch the bottom, come back up, and then break out. This is pretty wild price action here. And that is on Bitfinex. As you can see, we're still in the green box of confusion. Can't get out of that. Let's go to Bitstamp here. I just want to kind of compare this. Oh, I don't even have the line on there. No big deal. We can just draw that real quick. Oh, maybe. Maybe I can. And I draw it this way because I don't want it. This was like a false breakout. There's more touches on this line. I know a lot of people have it drawn with this one here, with that one, and that's quite a bit of white space, especially here and here, and a little bit here. This is okay. That one's not too bad, but like this one and this one are definitely pretty bad. And you know, this was the pretty solid trend line, and you can even bring this back to this candle here. And I don't know if you like to do wicks or bodies. I prefer the bodies of the candles. So I kind of have it drawn something like this, and technically this is breaking out right here, and it's been a few days, and now all the exponential moving averages are over it, and you're getting the blue dots here as a pretty nice support running with the 21. So that's why I'm thinking this consolidation is really good support right here. And also, if you take this and do kind of a similar type you know, triangle. I know everybody's just kind of in this area, but this isn't as important because what I'm about to show you, you'll see. On the right side here, I'm just showing this kind of intersection that's giving us ultimately a trend line cross, which are usually important price levels. And you can see this one in the mid, you know, 62 to 62.50, depending exactly how you draw your trend line, has provided support multiple times, and also resistance. Mostly support though. So this is looking pretty good. Will we get another failed breakout is the big question that everybody is wondering. We most definitely could. I'm leaning a little bit more bullish with some of the price action and altcoins, and there's some notable volume coming into, you know, Binance and Bittrex and the altcoin exchanges. Ripple looks really good. We'll go talk about Ripple here in a second. But yeah, this is a pretty good look here. So the only thing I kind of don't like is 6501. I was like, I wanted a little bit more than that. 6501.00 on the daily, and we needed to close at 65. That's just dandy, isn't it? So yeah, but even if we don't get super bullish here, I'm looking for a run to tap these two here, these two moving averages, and that falls right into our hardcore resistance, which is that 68-69 level. And let's go ahead and measure the 618 is 6,900. So there you go. Will it fail? Oh, you can't see that. Let me go back to the Bitstamp or Bitfinex chart. There, it's drawn on this one. Will it fail once more, the 618, like it has done since the bear market started? Do notice that, as we talked about, these are pretty equal distance from each other. I know they're not equally drawn width-wise, but they are about equal distance from each other. And then here you can see they are compressing hardcore, even on this metric, and you can see this attempt at it. And so this looks like it kind of wants to come test up into our resistance box one more time, maybe with everybody behind it. And don't forget, backed is over here, this red line that I have drawn, this vertical one, just to kind of keep a reminder for me. All right, let's go to Ethereum, see what it looks like. Actually, we didn't talk about internals. All right, so RSI above 50, daily DMI looks great. So bullish on those, bullish on the 3-day, bullish on the 4-hour. Bearish on the 1-hour, so a little bit, you know, that big candle right there, you know, that's kind of, oh my goodness, it's freaking people out a little bit. And bullish on the 850 though, so only bearish on the 1-hour, so looking pretty bullish at the moment. All right, Ethereum. Oh, look at this. Very important test zone. Hasn't really been here in a while. You had this little kind of fluke here. That was a little Bitfinex fluke. I'm not really paying attention to that wick that much. There was lots of volume, I know. But you can see here, testing the 55 on the daily, which is coinciding with the middle part of this channel, which has existed since December. And it's been respected as well, with only 2 little fake outs on the bottom. You could probably draw this a little different if you wanted, and maybe draw it that way, possibly, and then it would already be breaking out. But I'm going to leave it how I had it. Alright, and so we're testing there, and with the 55 coming as resistance, but also finding support on the 21 daily and bullish on the DMI. Starting to get more bullish on the 3-day, but still bearish. Bullish on the 4-hour, bearish on the 1-hour, and bullish on the 850. So Bitcoin already has it on the 3-day. Ethereum doesn't. That's the only difference with the internal readings, and makes sense as it's coming up on serious resistance. Ethereum busts over this. What is that? About 225, 230. Let's just call it 230. With some legs, we're definitely coming to test the upper part of this channel. That is a very high probability if that breaks out here. So, all right, let's see if Litecoin is doing the same kind of thing. All right, Litecoin. Wow, look at this, riding down the middle of this channel, just chipping away. Funny. I mean, that is just crazy. I don't know if can't say I've seen some charts like this before, man. Never seen like, there's no shit like this in my life. But yeah, same kind of channel, been around a while. Basing here pretty nicely. Bullish on the daily and breaking over the mid part of the channel, finding support. It is over the 21 and tested the 55 actually a couple days ago before Bitcoin decided to do that. So it looks very similar though to the price action on BTC. And like this recent price action, just I'm talking about from here to here. Kind of getting compressed here with both supports right beneath price action right now. You know, again, about 50 bucks, 51 bucks, even up to, depending on your risk tolerance, I think 51 to 53 is really good for stops right here. On the 4-hour, neutral, 3-day, neutral, bearish on the 1-hour, bullish on the 850. So Litecoin's a little bit more of a mixed bag, but just off price action alone and where it is relative to the exponentials, it looks pretty decent right here. Could be just a nice little liquidation break. for the push over that. And note, it is above the mid part of the channel. It hasn't been up there since, you know, over here, which didn't look good. Note that it was below the 21 exponential. And we're above here, so that's different. Right here is kind of a similar situation. I would say this is very similar to price action right now, except the purple isn't there, but which is the 144 exponential. But I think this is pretty similar price action here. Maybe we get like that. But again, just kind of showing you the last time it's been over. Here's another one here. So it hasn't been over the middle part of that channel, but less than a handful of times for the year. So that's big news, guys. That's super different. Woo! Super exciting, right? XRP, the rips. Let's check it out, because it's been looking pretty nice. Took a nice little dump though here. It looks like there's some selling going on since the last. Yep, so go out and there's some good selling here that's been popping off. That's interesting. Again, we've been looking in the last video we talked about XRP looking nice and bullish, just compressing right here. It did end up getting that little nice pop. You know, this is a pretty good pop right here too. I mean, that's about 20%. It's given up about half of that here in the last you know, half of this day or so. But look at all this support it has right here. I mean, if anything, I'm looking to buy this anywhere on dips a little bit, and then letting it go below like 42 to 44 cents. Looks pretty nice. Still bullish on the daily, still bullish on the 3-day, still bullish on the 4-hour. Again, bearish on the hour. That makes sense. All of the major coins have been showing that we've looked at so far. And that's just because of this recent little dump like these happen. And, you know, it could be nothing more than a liquidation break to get ready. Or, you know, we could have some more follow through, of course. But nothing yet is saying there's no divergence yet here. I mean, so this still looks pretty damn good. Odds are definitely favoring the upside at the moment. EOS, check that out. Looks very similar to the other coins we've been looking at. Bullish on the daily. Just got neutral on the 4-hour, neutral on the 3-day, on the 1-hour bearish. So again, I'm probably bullish on the 850. Maybe if we can load here. And bullish on the 850. So again, a lot of the internals are the same now, but they're mostly all bullish together though, and that's very different than what we have been seeing in the last several weeks. So I think that is kind of one of the main takeaways, since price action's been so damn sideways on mostly everything. I think one of the bigger takeaways of price of what I'm seeing is they are kind of all showing some decent signs of strength here in the last handful of days. So EOS looking pretty nice right here. Of course, you know, we've had that major support zone around 480 to $5. Keeps testing about the $5 range here the last month and a half, bouncing off of it. We are making lower highs, so, you know, that does suck. But let's see what happens with this spike in this volume here, because it's coming in and we just now are getting a little bit bullish. And we are all holding these little same patterns. EOS the same as Litecoin right here. So some interesting risk to reward setups, I think, on some of these charts that I've been fanning through here. All right, let's go to XMR, get the privacy coins out of there, or out of the way, I should say. Been finding real good support at 100, pretty much 100 flat. It is bullish again on the daily. Oh, one thing, don't forget, 3-day is bullish on Bitcoin, so that's different. 4-hour bullish. Hourly bullish, actually, on XMR. Okay, so XMR is bullish on all the time frames except for 3, but all the lower ones. Looking pretty good. Same type thing, though, where price is relative to the lower term moving averages, the 21 and 55. Would be the yellow and the orange there. And so, oops, forgot to do that. Usually do that earlier. It's one of those days. So yeah, this looks pretty nice. I like this for maybe a an attempt again to run up to these two longer term moving averages and possibly to the upper parts of this channel. If I remember to pull out this chart, I might just save it till tomorrow since this is kind of like thrown together. Put some more thought behind it. It's a really good chart, and I'm pretty excited to share it. I just stumbled across it earlier this week. I was doing stuff and put it together and was like, wait, I need to overlay this onto this. And it was pretty freaky. Alright. So we'll save that for tomorrow. Dash. Let's go to the Dash coin. Ladies and gentlemen. I like Dash. I actually am wanting to get really long Dash here. I said that I know, and it was even back here. I should have got in a little bit. I didn't. That was great entry. Because you have this like good support right over here looking left. But now you get kind of confirmation. You got the daily is looking real nice. The 3-day isn't bullish yet. 4 hours, good. 850 is good. 1 hour is decent. I'm going too fast here. 850 is nice. And look at this on the daily. Look where the bears are. That means they're getting real weak. This usually happens right before big pumps. Here you go. Here's some pumps. That just happened out of there. They actually happened before. Yeah, so it's just kind of like when they get slapped down in this lower levels, that's like good placement for, you know, this kind of action here. Spontaneous upside movement. So I'm liking this for sure. Again, we are looking at like some decent entry points here at a lot of these charts that I'm looking at with some good risk to rewards. So do fan through some charts out there, y'all. Don't be scared. It just put some skin in the game. It doesn't have to be that much, you know. You can put in $5 or you can put in 50,000 in crypto. That's why it's so awesome. It's a great learning tool. It can teach you with minimal money. You can't put $100 in a brokerage account like at TD Ameritrade or something. Like, this shit just doesn't work. You're not gonna be able to trade. Commissions are too high. It just doesn't work that way. You need a lot more money, thousands. All right, equities. That's what we need to get into right now. Oh man, how they have been moving. Bouncing off the longer term moving average, excuse me. Right here, the red line on the daily, like clockwork almost. Woo. Woo. Like clockwork there. Sorry, that was a big yawn. Came out of nowhere. Closing and beaming past, bouncing from the 21 exponential all the way up to the 55 in one day after the election. I guess all this was election fear. Everything's okay now. It does look like we're putting in some form of inverted head and shoulders now that I'm looking at this. And I'm not a huge chart pattern guy. I say that all the time, but when they're kind of really there and possibly about to be there, and I don't like to pre-draw them, but this one is pretty, I think this one's pretty possibly defined. All we need to do is kind of keep up with, I'm going to leave it open too, because it's not full. It's not filled yet. But yeah, something like that is looking, and my buddy was actually talking about this not too long ago, and I thought it was kind of crazy, but it looks like he could be correct. If this puts in this pattern, that would be incredibly bullish, because that puts us at new highs, which will probably break us out. And, you know, that could definitely happen with this election stuff. The only thing that kind of sucks about this head and shoulders is like this kind of candle is from way up here. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's a little too much. I'm not a head and shoulders expert. You know what? It looks like it's kind of there. My buddy talked about it. I mentioned it. There's some food for thought. We're going to erase it, though. Looking pretty good. Probably will come back and tap the bottom part of this channel. Looks like. Still not out of the woods yet, though. This is some pretty serious damage done to equities, and there you are, right at the 618 from this whole move, and we're stalling. So this is going to be tough to get through. And look at that, the 7-8 is right there at that trend line right now. So yeah, so we are in kind of a more resistance zone. Getting long here is definitely way more risky than yesterday, or even just earlier today, for sure. Daily is neutral. 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is bullish, 850 just got bullish, and 3 days still bearish. So looking kind of like markets a little, or like crypto markets a little bit on the internals, if we just take it like really simply. But let's see what happens. We're right here in the middle of all this price action, so kind of a not the greatest place to get into a trade yet. I do want to get really long, but I'm waiting for confirmation here. So let's see what this rest of the week plays out. We do have a Fed decision tomorrow. That could easily slap this down if they say something that the people don't like. I don't know. Y'all know how I feel about news. NASDAQ, let's do it. Same type pattern. Did not close above its 55, so showing a little bit of weakness, but is back above its long-term trend line. So it's strong there. Weak on the moving average. So this daily looks almost exactly the same though, as does the 3-day, as does the 4 hour. Yeah, wow, so the internals look very similar, so that's kind of weird. I guess price action has kind of been the same for most things. Here we are again, coming up on resistance on the longer term 4 hour. This is a 377 exponential, this red one. That is the longest term one that I use. And yes, it's been resistance pretty good since, you know, we first started selling off in early October. Even tested it once here, and ultimately every moving average got below it here on the 18th, and we continued to sell off pretty hard. So here we are kind of testing right there where all that damage started really getting done. So we should have some pretty good resistance in this zone. So again, initiating trades right here, especially to the long side, is probably the riskier play. But I do really want to get long this market. I'm just waiting a little bit longer for some confirmation. Once the Fed gets out of the way, I think that'll be really good, because then the next thing isn't some dumb China crap and Brexit in a few months. So perfect time for Christmas rallying. Here you go, Russell, same thing. Well short of its 55 though, so showing the most weakness in the major indices. And we actually don't even have, wow, let me go to the rut so we can get the longer term exponential. There wasn't even enough data. They just switched the Russell to, I believe the CME does them now under a different ticker, RTY. But anyway, same kind of structure here with this like almost looking inverted head and shoulders thing. And internals are very, very much the same. Yep, same stuff on here. So again though, weakest relative to the other majors, as it came real shy of its 55 exponential. So we'll see what happens. Definitely small caps, I would think, are more sensitive to higher rates, even though there's like a 95% chance that that doesn't go down tomorrow. All right, let's go to oil. Oil cannot catch a break to save anything. It is just taken out to the shed and has been beaten and destroyed. This is one of the worst moves in oil since, I believe, I read something, it was June of 2016, I believe it was. Scroll back a little bit. Yeah, here you go. It was this month. So, worst month since then. Oil does this. We talked about it a little bit, about 61 in this area being like probably the last good push out zone. One thing that is very notable is energy stocks, individual ones, Chesapeake, you know, and XOP and even OIH. Those are big ETFs for energy. They've been rallying pretty good, and I'll pull one up real quick just so you can see it. Like, keep this in your, here, let's take away everything else, just price, there you go. Keep that, I mean, that is steep as shit, y'all. That is a serious move. That's about 20%. And one lot in this is about $16,000, $17,000 move. So very large move. Like I said, one of the biggest in 2.5 years. And let's go look at like XOP though. Look at that, very different chart, right? What is this? Recovering a lot. It's been going up actually the last week while oil keeps selling off. OIH, not as much. This is the services, so not as much, but notably it's not going that much more down, right? So just something I've been watching this last week as oil just continues to get hammered. I haven't looked at any headlines really, but I do remember some friends talking about when it was up here. I think we mentioned it. There's calls for $400 barrel oil and $300, and it's $100 for sure by the end of the year. Well, yeah, that did not happen, as you can clearly see. It still could happen. We still got a month and a half or so, but yeah. Oil does like to do these crazy V-rips, so I'm assuming one of those is around the corner. And with underlying companies that are involved in energy that have been bouncing, here's one I can pull up. Chesapeake is a big one. It's very traded. You got an island reversal bottom happening right here on this candle, gap down, and it's been rallying since then. So, you know, it participated in the oil sell-off most of the time. Came to the party a little bit late, but when it really got accelerated, it joined. But now, when it's still been accelerated, it's like, we're cool. Finding some value here. Let's go to nat gas. We don't talk about that much, but, you know, maybe some of the energy has been focused over here on nat gas. You can see this. Just monster pop. There's just headlines about it's going to be colder winter or some crap or whatever. Yeah, but just gigantic pop. Nat gas has been really bullish though since it crossed $3. Made a nice flag right here. You couldn't have really participated in it though, but there is a flag for sure right there. But you know, you would have to speculate off a technical basis. Didn't quite get out. I mean, I guess you could say maybe if you drew this line here, this one kind of, but I don't know. That's splitting hairs, in my opinion. So that would have been a tough one to catch, but it was definitely there. Big move. Not touching that one at all with a 10-foot pole. Don't like it. Yeah, and there's divergence too on the DMI. I don't know. That one's a little bit too big, and look at it being at the top of the range for the last couple years. So, and lots of loss of resistance here. Look at all this consolidation and price action. It's pretty much right above where it is. I'll be watching it though. Maybe selling some premium on there might not be the worst idea, given the volatility is, you know, obviously expanded. Gold. It's trying to hold on. It really is. Kind of basing right here around the 55.21. It really is struggling to get above the any other moving average though. Compressing. This isn't the worst though. Compression staying up in this higher range of this big candle is kind of acceptance up here. Pretty much as long as we can hold the bottom of this candle about, let's call it 12.10. We should be okay. For everything's real neutral though in gold. All the oscillators are real neutral. Even the 3-day. How about the weekly? Even the weekly. So real tough to see. Again, Fed rate decision tomorrow. Probably a lot of shit is waiting on that. So tomorrow will be definitely a nice day for chatting about that. Alright. Let's go ahead and go to Bitcoin. Wrap it up with final thoughts. As you know, zoom in here a little bit. We've been selling off a little bit during this show. There you go. Yep, and that's right. It is all my fault. I dumped 0.1 Bitcoin on the market, and it moved it this much. Yeah, it's whale status right there, guys. Here we are, though, coming at all this action at the top. There should be some decent support here. And just like we were discussing earlier, keeping above these moving averages on the hourly, like 64-ish area, is going to be nice support And if we go back to the daily and look, we are getting bullish and setting up for a nice type run. RSI is over 50. I am liking this price action. And we are finally out of this triangle. I thought we might go sideways through it. And I guess you could kind of argue it semi-is. I mean, this is still freaking nothing. I mean, you know, really, if we want to look at it visually a little better, we are just in this range. And this is 61, 50-ish too. 65, which has been that range for a couple weeks in the videos. We've been discussing that for a long time. 6150, 6500. Just saying it every day. It is what it is. Can't make the price move. Unless you're Roger Ver, right? Joking all aside. We are looking decent right here on price action. And the fact that a lot of coins are following suit with their price action relative to their indicators and internals and all that good stuff. It is looking pretty decent here. So, could it be one of these little failed tricks? Absolutely. Of course, that does scare me. But look where price is relative to where this is. This got really hyped up. This little A pattern, A pattern. Let's see what happens here. I'm excited we're finally above and out of this triangle. You know, like, we should be rejoicing. That hasn't happened since, you know, back here in July. This is like a party, y'all. And we're above the 55 exponential, just that alone. We haven't done that since September 21st. That's party worthy for me. I'm not super bullish yet, but I'm more bullish than I was this weekend, or this last weekend. So, with that said, this is No Noise, your host, C-Rex, signing off. If you had any, got any value out of this or enjoyed the stream, please sub, bell, and smash. Again, check out my other videos too. I timestamp them very thoroughly, pretty much each coin and each one I do, so you can breeze through those to what you want to hear. Alright, y'all. Happy trading. Peace.